Hi, I'm John Cadillac Seville from Guilford Cable TV and also iHeartRadio. It's good to be here tonight, and a group really that has a lot to do with my past, and I really enjoyed being part of it when it was called Guilford Interfaith Ministries, but now it's called Guilford Interfaith Volunteers, and I have Martha Slattery, Linda Westgard, and Christy Burton, and you can pretty much tell about what you do in the background, but I'd like to know a little bit about what you folks do to the average person watching tonight. What exactly is Guilford Interfaith Volunteers?
Guilford Interfaith Volunteers, which used to be ministries, is the umbrella organization of Charlie's Closet, Meals on Wheels, Friendly Visiting, and we also run the food bank in coordination with social services.
Wow, so you have a lot under your umbrella.
We try to help as many people as we can.
Really? Now, yeah, my mom took advantage of Charlie's Closet at one point too. You know, she was able to get, I think, a wheelchair or something for $1. Is that the case where everything's for $1 or something like that?
We take donations, so Linda can tell you we have everything from Band-Aids to hospital beds.
Wow, wow. So let's talk a little bit about Meals on Wheels right now, since I know that it really affects so many people in the community. And you think about, you know, Guilford. I mean, it seems to be perceptually a wealthy community, and you wouldn't think too many people would need Meals on Wheels, but that's not the case, is it?
No, Christy runs the program.
Christy, you want to talk about that?
Sure. Last year, the number of meals served to Guilford was about 24,000 plus.
24,000?
Yes, every day there's on average probably 88 meals delivered. We deliver 5 days a week, but we serve the community 7 days, so meaning they'll get a meal every day if needed. We delivered on Christmas 49 meals. We delivered 50 meals on Thanksgiving.
Wow. And Larry Santamaria, he's out there cooking away at the Guilford Rec, and I know Gene Bishop, a good friend of mine, he really takes such joy in delivering those meals out there.
Every Monday.
Every single Monday. Now, basically, Linda, you're in charge of
Charlie's Closet.
Charlie's Closet. Tell us a little bit about Charlie's Closet, because I find that fascinating.
So Charlie's Closet, we take any sort of medical equipment, and we turn around and anybody can come and get it, from no matter where you're from. You don't have to be a Guilford resident, and we charge a minimum of donation of $1 to take anything out, and it can be anything from a wheelchair to a hospital bed to a CPAP breathing machine or bandages or
that's amazing for $1.
We'll take more if people want to.
Exactly. Now, I mean, obviously, there's so much competition out there, you know, with nonprofits and people out there trying to do what they can to keep things going. What do you folks do besides, like, you know, cable TV programs like this to get the word out? You're getting involved in the community. You do a lot of events, networking events. What are some of the things you do to get the word out?
We try. People know about Meals on Wheels. So we have been Meals on Wheels started over 30 years ago. So that's, and Charlie's Closet is getting out. A lot of people in the state know about it now.
Right.
So I think that we are out there. People know about it. I would love to be able to help anybody that needs it, because every day we hear, oh, I wish I had known about this.
Yes, after the fact a lot.
So, yes.
Right.
So
now, as far as volunteers, I'm sure you can use more volunteers, right? I mean, we can always use more volunteers.
We can always use more volunteers. We have right now about 150 volunteers.
Right.
Christy has, I think, is 88 volunteers right now.
Yep.
88 volunteers?
They're all the drivers.
Right.
So every day there's 6 different routes and 1 driver per route. So we have 88 total.
And I'm sure you have backup people, because every now and then we know when you're driving around, things happen. Yeah. And you're still out there even in the weather, when there's weather situations, you're still out there making sure that people have what they need?
Yeah, I haven't run into that because I've only started in May. So
Oh,
we haven't had a snow
It's
day
been a pretty
yet,
mild winter here, too.
Yes, but when that does happen, then we'll just deliver the day before a snowstorm so that people will have the food they need.
Yeah. Okay, now Charlie's Closet, again, it just really fascinates me. Where do you get most of your donations from?
So they come from all over the state. I mean, the Guilford is probably the highest, but Madison, Branford, and we're one of the few in the state, so we get them from all over, and even sometimes out of state, because people don't know what to do with their medical equipment when they don't want to throw it out. So we're happy to take it and make a
So when somebody
Good
has
use
a
of it.
healing, or I mean, somebody obviously, passes on, unfortunately, I mean, they just, what do we do with this stuff? And you
Right.
take that gladly, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I just found it so satisfying when I was involved, with the Interfaith back then ministries. And we would meet, and it's just that feeling of being able to give in the community. I mean, that just must make you folks feel like you're just really providing services that people really need, and it just must give you just a sense of, I don't know, it's just so gratifying.
It is.
I mean, let me ask you a little bit about this, Marta.
Yeah.
Why did you get involved with what you're doing right now? What made you decide to do
Well, it's funny. So by training, I'm a vet, and I took time off to raise my kids. And I got involved. I was doing volunteering. I always thought that was important to do. I did it with my kids, and I did it by myself. So I was involved with the food bank.
Okay.
And then when Gail O'Leary, who was the director of Meals on Wheels at the time, was retiring, they asked me, because by then I was on the board as well.
Right.
of
Kind of worked your
GIM.
way up the ranks, so to
I
speak.
worked my
Mhm, mhm.
so I took over for Meals on Wheels, and then I'm now the executive director, and got Christy
Yep.
and Linda, and actually the three of us have been friends for a while, so it's great
So
that
you
we're
kind of like
now
each other
working
too, that
together.
helps, right? Linda, a little bit about you, a little bit about your background. Why did you decide to do what you want? I'm always
So-
curious about why people do what they do.
So I've actually been in IT for years and needed a change. So
Right, right.
Marta roped me in, and I do
Roped
really
you in, I like that.
I do really enjoy the work. It's people are very appreciative, and it's rewarding that way.
But your IT skills must help a little bit with what you're doing here, right?
Yeah, a little,
I'm sure they come in, right?
a little bit.
Yeah. And what about you, Christy? A little bit about your background.
It's a little similar, I guess. I was in Manhattan. I worked in Manhattan on Wall Street, and then I came up and raised the kids and stopped working. And then when they got to be teenagers, I kind of I had volunteered to be a driver for Meals on Wheels, and then Marta kind of.
She roped you in?
No, I'm happily here. No,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
great organization. I'm happy to be here.
Now, the Guilford Food Bank. Now, who is in charge of the Guilford Food Bank?
So that's it's great. We work with the town of Guilford.
Okay.
So I'm Marie Gunn, who couldn't be here. She's on vacation. She coordinates all the volunteers and coordinates with the Connecticut Food Bank. So when Guilford Social Services was thinking of starting a food bank, they realized that if you needed to be a nonprofit in order to take advantage of the Connecticut Food Bank.
Gotcha.
That's why they approached the GIM board at the time.
Yep.
So it works great. We get the volunteers, train them, and she does the scheduling. So the volunteers are wonderful. They run the food bank. We
Wow.
have volunteers that do the intake, go over all the donations, and then they distribute the food.
Now, how do you get the word out for food? I mean, you let people know specifically, like we need, macaroni and cheese, or we need green beans, or we need this. I mean, how do you get the word out so people watching right now can contribute to the Guilford Food Bank?
Guilford Social Services, that's that side of it,
Right.
the intake. So they put out in the paper, we need this week, the needs are this and this and that. When people want to do a food drive, they call, and then we let them know what the needs are. So,
That's fabulous. So, anything that I haven't talked about yet, because I just want to make sure while we have this forum, this platform, that we get the word out. What would you like people to know, the average person sitting on their couch now watching us, each division of what you're doing with Interfaith Volunteers, anything that you'd like to individually speak about?
well, I
Maybe
think
have-
the great thing about our organization is that we take a holistic approach.
Right.
So when somebody comes and needs meals, the volunteer drivers come, oh, this person seems very lonely. So, we have something for you. So I'm Marie Gunn, who runs Friendly Visiting. We'll go bring them a meal and talk about the Friendly Visiting program.
Oh, so friendly visiting, we haven't even talked about that yet. Let's expand upon that a little bit, because we were taping a previous show, and we were talking about it as a very serious problem in our culture is loneliness. That can be fatal for a lot of people, especially this time of year over the holidays. I mean, by the time this runs in January and February, that happens because of all the darkness out there, this and that. Tell me a little bit about friendly visiting. I think that's really important.
It's fantastic. It started shortly after Meals on Wheels because people realized that a lot of the clients that they were seeing were lonely. They were, you know, when they had to get, because the drivers are delivering like 20 meals
Right.
in the route.
And they
So
have to get in
can
and out,
really,
right?
yeah, they
Yeah.
can spend half an hour with each client, or we would be there until
Sure.
nighttime. So that's why we started the friendly visiting program. So we have America and also runs that one. She has people that want to volunteer, and people, we get calls from relatives and even the Meals on Wheels clients that are lonely and would like to have a friendly visitor. So she matches them. She visits with both of them
Right.
and tries to find somebody that would be a good match, common interest or whatever. And it's great. So it's a social visit. We don't do any medical care.
Right.
So they spend about 1 hour a week, but it's usually more than that.
Right. But that hour or two can
It's
make the difference.
fantastic.
You know, just that, because I was talking to somebody recently where an elderly person didn't have any contact with anybody for up to a week.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's just, you know, a week. It's scary. It really is. Because I remember when I was with Meals on Wheels in the past, I enjoyed that, you know, we were delivering on Thanksgiving and Christmas morning. And we had a lot of volunteers at the time, so we did have a little bit of time to speak with people and just bring the food in. And they always say, come on in. And you'd be able to sit with them and chat and have a conversation and just sit with them and ask them about them.
Yeah.
Because very few people ask about you. They're too busy talking about themselves. But when you say, tell me a little bit about you, your background, they just light up. It's like, wow, somebody's really interested in me as a person. Right? And I think that's great. I just love that whole friendly visiting.
Well, and from what we've seen, the volunteers get as much from it, if not more, as the
Wow.
clients do. It's enriching for both of them.
Sure. Now, anything you want to add too? Linda, I'm sure, you know, I mean, because I want you to be able to, you know, get everything out that you want to talk about while we have the chance.
I guess when, you know, if someone has a need for medical equipment, we just encourage them to give us a call and see if we have it, and we're happy, you know, if we have it, to hold it for them and they can come and get it.
And how do we get in contact with you folks? Do we have like an email address or a phone number? I mean, what would be the best place or the best way
Well,
to do it?
our phone number is 203-453-8359.
Make sure you have a pen at home now. All right, write this down. Okay, so once again, I interrupted. Once again, phone number.
It's 203-453-8359.
Okay, great. Krista, what about you? Anything you want to add?
I guess I would say a couple things. One is that we do not, we're not state funded at all. So we're able, because of that, to kind of bypass a lot of paperwork, and we can help anybody. So the
you
motto,
can move quicker.
right?
Love it. Yeah.
Our motto is neighbors helping neighbors. So we're really not. There's no restriction to that. We always try to help anybody who needs help. And to Marta's point, I would say that today, for example, I went to go visit with somebody who is taking care of her husband. She's elderly herself. She's 93, and she's going to be a recipient of Meals on Wheels, but she also is by herself. Her husband is sick, and so Anne Marie, who Marta spoke about, is going to go visit her in a week, and we'll match her up. So it was just kind of lends itself to what Marta was saying about, I went to go meet a client and introduced friendly visiting, told her son that if she needs any medical equipment to call Linda. So it's just kind of a nice, cohesive set of things that we can help people with.
And that's great, because I mean, it's all about the bedside manner too. You know, it's all about dignity. It seems like you really enjoy when you're sitting with somebody and you look them in the eye and you really, you know, show them how much you care. Big difference, rather than just somebody just going robotically, systematically. And I got a sense that all three of you really love people and that you care about what you're doing.
And we know that if they're coming to us, they're usually in need. So
And it's hard
That's
to
it.
ask for help.
yeah.
for
Yeah, I mean,
most
pride
people.
gets in the way in a lot of ways. You know, pride and you know, and you're right. But at least you know you have to kind of let that go sometimes and say, I need your help. Right. So I really like to thank all three of you for being here. You know, once again, Marta Slattery, director, also Linda Westgard, and also Christy Burton. I mean, thanks for doing what you do. We really
It's our
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
We really love what we
Guilford
do.
Interfaith Volunteers. And again, I'm John Cadillac Seville from iHeartRadio and GCTV. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with these ladies, and thanks for being such great servers. And best to you and your families as well.
Thank you.
Thank
John.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.